another while of me, laugh and drink and say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile. Whoa.
All right. Nice. Great intro. Welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. It's your boy, Coach B, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Drye. Show us your shirt.
Hello.
That beautiful shirt.
Oh. Welcome to Duloc. It's a perfect town. Here we have some rules. Let us lay them down. Wipe your face.
So, this is what we're doing. It's the week one recap. Everyone's back from their first week of fantasy football. All the drama, all the hype, all the excitement. It was insane. I was keeping tabs all day long. Was crying, was sad, was happy, all the emotions. What did you think of the first week of NFL football, Dr. Drye?
Man, it's everything we've been waiting for. Kind of a I don't know, we have a disappointment list that's pretty long, but other than that, just happy that football's back. It's like that meme. All you need is that TV, that crappy chair, and an empty room, and and just 7 hours of uninterrupted football. So, all you need is that red zone. So, anyway, watched a lot of red zone on my phone, neglecting the family, and anyway, it was it was a good week. So, I went 5-0 in all of my leagues. So. Very excited about the hot start. I know last year I think I was in 3 or 4 leagues, didn't lose a single game until like week 5. And so but I only won like one championship. Like it was messed up. So it happens.
That's hopeful for people who started a little slow. Even
Yeah.
the Doc who won 5 weeks in a row, 3 or 4 leagues. That's a ton of wins.
Hard to do. Yeah.
Only one championship. This thing is a marathon. You got to play it out, and hey, celebrate if you get that. If you got those wins in week 1, but also don't give up. It's funny how like despair can set in halfway through week 1. It was like 3 p.m. week 1, and I was like, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I have in this one. The other dynasty league that I'm in, that's in year 2, I have just a stacked team. I have the Holy Trinity at receiver. I got Jefferson, Chase, Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley. So it might be a foursome now, but Joe Burrow is my quarterback, and so Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I was like, man, I'm about to get beat by a team I shouldn't be losing to. I went 12-2 last year. Like, am I about to start 0-1? But then Tyreek Hill did Tyreek Hill things. Yeah. He's such a great man. I wouldn't let him watch my kids, but I will start him every week that I can, everywhere I can. I'm so happy to have him on the Dynasty squad, even if it's only for the next 2 years. Yeah. So he kind of saved the day. And what's cool is like Burrow and Chase really sucked, and I still put up the second most points in the league. So we can only get better from there. So very excited.
A lot of untapped potential there for your squad. So we're going to try to, because there is so much, we're going to try to organize this thing down. And so our first bout of things is awards. And so for you folks out there, get used to this because this is going to be a weekly thing. And so we have our awards, and our first award is quite the mouthful. And so I'm going to take it slow and easy. Our first award is the Hillshire Farms Holiday Sausage, Cheese, and Cracker Gift Basket List of Disappointment.
Perfect.
So if you've ever sat around the Christmas tree with some relatives you don't know that well and opened up the holiday cheese and cracker set, the ultimate, I don't know who the hell you are, I don't care about you, here's some meat and cheese for Christmas. And you feel that tinge of disappointment as you say, thank you so much for this terrible gift. These guys make you feel that same exact way. So these are guys who you're not done with, but you're definitely disappointed with how things went in week 1. So who's on your list of disappointment?
So it's kind of I'm disappointed with a lot of you people, and we're gonna air out those grievances. So, but yeah, I've gotten the Hillshire Farms holiday sausage, cheese, and cracker gift basket before. It's the male equivalent of getting the Bath and Body Works random thing from like a coworker or something. Um, but yeah, I mean, very very popular holiday gift, and you don't even know if you're gonna eat it. Like it might just sit there for a year and then you throw it out in July when you're cleaning out or
I
something.
mean, and it's still good, but for the next Christmas, it can just
You
sit
can
there.
re-gift that shit next year. So it doesn't expire. so so I'm sure that these things just keep getting passed around and passed around, but yeah, I mean basically these are players that we're disappointed in. We're not done with them. Obviously you're not dropping more than half of these people. You're just like they did not have a good week. So these are the gifts that we would give them if we were to give them a gift for week 1.
Yes.
Drake London, good job. You got 0 points.
Yeah.
You're on the Hillshire Farms list. That's what happens.
Uh,
A couple of guys that we really like, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. You're on the Hillshire Farms holiday sausage, cheese, and cracker gift basket list. Uh, DeAndre Swift, and you're at risk on this other list that we have. I'll tell you that, buddy.
yeah.
T. Higgins, 0 points.
Yeah.
Overdrafted.
Oh,
Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. Kadarius Toney, he had a very embarrassing.
that was a sad.
Yeah, he sucked. Sky Moore. Basically, they were in like smash spots where that Thursday night game, like that was their chance to prove that they were worth drafting. They're going to be the new wide receiver 1. They both had a shot at it, and man, were they disappointing. So. Welcome to the list. Antonio Gibson, good job. Like he fumbled. He literally like he wasn't going to be on the list. He was going to get a great gift and fumbled it, and this is what he receives.
Yeah.
So Antonio Gibson's on the list.
Yeah. My list additions would just be Dallas Goddard.
Didn't he do 0?
0, not a thing. And we love him, but the Chigster, Chiggy Konkwu, another goose egg.
He got 0.
0 for Chig, and so that's just really sad, very disappointing. These are guys we're high on. Goddard's someone you may have spent some significant draft capital on, and man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, but
hold off.
But you have to. But you have to. They deserve it. 0
Yeah.
points you this. Good players don't get 0 points. You find a way to get the ball. You go and you Des Bryant the coach in the ear on the sideline, and you say, "Give me that ball. Give
me those Funyuns. Bring me my treat. Ring dong."
And my last one is actually for the Baltimore offensive scheme. We were really expecting something new and different and exciting, and we just got a bunch of runs by the running backs and Lamar Jackson, and not a lot of dynamic passing like we were hoping for. So that was really disappointing. I'm hopeful that as they get into the season, things will change and we will see some sort of neat passing game there. But that was really disappointing because everyone was hyping up the new offensive coordinator, the new offensive scheme in Baltimore. It's a new year. I got my guys. I got my contract, and so there you go. So that's our list of disappointment. And so our next one, and I will say I workshopped this one at work, and it was popular. The Sleep Dead Award. So let's define shitting the bed. This is someone who you're done with. All right, they are all the cheese you can handle. If you're lactose intolerant, they're on this list, okay? And so these folks are ones that you're disappointed in, you're mad at, and you're done with. You're dropping them when you're doing your waiver pickups. These are probably some of the first ones coming off your squad. So who's on your sleep number the bed award?
Yeah, so I'm going with Sky Moore. I'd already kind of mentioned that. I was about to start him in a league. Luckily, he didn't cost me. I won all my games, but Sky Moore, I don't think he's ever had a good game. Like,
Yeah,
I think he's had a couple good plays,
yeah,
and he's maybe someone that we fell in love with the hype. You didn't spend high draft capital on the guy, but you're like, all right, he's gonna be the one, and like he's not.
yeah.
So he's, I don't know. I just don't see the potential anymore. He had an ultimate smash spot in what should have been a really good game, and he completely shit the bed. So
One carry,
he gets the
4
sleep
yards.
number shit the bed award from me.
Nice.
Well, get this guy some pull ups because he's almost gonna shit the bed. Antonio Gibson. I think they hyped him up to be just the next coming of like Alvin Kamara or something. Like Bieniemy's like, hey, we're gonna get this guy a bunch of touches. He's gonna be the pass catching back. It's gonna be exciting. And he was that in college at Memphis and everything. And anyway, got everybody excited. He fumbled it.
Yeah.
And anyway, he's. I'm not. I don't know. I'm only gonna give it to one guy. I'm gonna give it to Sky Moore, but Antonio Gibson, you're next.
And so I'm going to give my the bet award to Daniel Jones.
Oh, he looked bad.
Yeah, I don't care about whether Dak Prescott was playing in it, and not that he looked terrific, but by God, figure something out. And I was kind of starting to like feel pretty good about Daniel Jones, like maybe have him as like a backup or utilize him, and not to say he won't be like utilized by me in the future, but man, that was pretty ugly. And so if you have some Daniel Jones shares, you might be really doubting those shares right now after this week. But don't forget, I do want to add a little hopeful note. Don't forget how Dallas made the Vikings look for one game last year, and we didn't all get rid of Kirk Cousins after that.
That's true.
The Cowboys defense, when they kind of get going and they get in, it's almost like they get inside your head. Not only are they like literally sacking you, but they're like sacking your mind, and it's just you're not functioning anymore. And so maybe it was a problem with weather, and they just got into his head. But dear God, that was disgusting to watch. If you had some shares of Daniel Jones, so that's who my award's going to go to. And Christian Kirk is on high alert for me as well.
Yeah. Well,
He's already come off my roster in place of some waiver pickups coming up, tomorrow morning. So
yeah. So, I mean, if you don't want to have to worry about roster management or anything, make sure that you play Underdog Fantasy, where you can enter the code Fifth Quarter Fantasy, and Underdog will match that deposit up to $100. So if you just want to set it, forget it, do some best ball, and not have anybody shit the bed, or if they do, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to live with it forever. So go and play Underdog, sign up with Fifth Quarter Fantasy.
Nice. So our last award is the McDonald's 11th Nugget Award, 11th McNugget Award. So, you went and you got your 10-piece, and you better be checking that food.
You always count them.
You check that food, and you're expecting it to be wrong. But what you don't expect is an 11th nugget. And that is a pleasant surprise. And this award is going out to the players that were pleasant surprises in the first week of the NFL season.
It feels so good to get the 11th McNugget, but if you get 9, like, I'm burning that bitch down. Like, it's but if you get that 11th McNugget, you really feel valued. You're like, wow, like they could have given that to anybody, and they gave it to me. So
like I'm not going to pluck out that 11th nugget and hand it back into the drive-through window. But
hey, I got too many.
But if I got 9, by God, my hand's coming through the drive-through window to reach in and grab a 10th nugget, or maybe even a 14th nugget at that point.
Yeah.
The inconvenience of it all. And so the 11th nugget is a beautiful thing. Also, hey, runner-up name for this award would have been bonus fry in the bottom of the bag. If you're a fry
Hey.
guy and there's a loose fry hanging around in the bottom of the bag, that's a nice surprise too. You just take that fry, you munch it up. It's a good day.
Yeah, I love it. I love it whenever my son doesn't finish his food and like dad gets just everything. Like it's great. So make sure you get something your kids won't like that you do, and you'll get some extra food. Little life hack for the parents out there.
So who's your 11th nugget, folks?
Um, so I mean, very popular pick. He's the guy everybody's talking about right now. He's the perfect combination of sexy and cute. Puka Nakua.
Oh,
So yeah, Nakua, straight out of BYU, a nice Christian man. Just looking terrific. He's a coach's favorite. He's
oh,
doctor's orders. Go pick him up.
right.
All those things. What I like about him, not just because he has a fun name, and I already had him in Dynasty. Like I already spent late capital on him, and very excited about him. Didn't really even know too much about him, but I just knew Cooper Kupp was, someone who is getting older and hurt all the time. I also know Van Jefferson. We've been waiting for him to become a thing. Everybody was like, pick up Jefferson. Like, okay, I've never seen Jefferson be consistent. So Puka Nakua is naturally the guy. And Tutu Atwell was also he had the same stats. I think he had a couple less catches, but he's a good add there too. But Puka Nakua is the guy because he got 15 targets, which is I believe an NFL record. Nobody's getting 15 targets. That's crazy. Those are Cooper Kupp numbers, and he's younger. And I think Matt Stafford really likes him, and Kupp's going to be out for 4 weeks. So Nakua is going to be that guy that's going to get to establish that trust. Stafford doesn't really know who his receivers are. They got the win too, so I know that matters more in real life where they can actually build even more trust.
Yeah.
So Puka Nakua, definitely 11th McNugget material. Very pleasant surprise. Nobody started him, but you could have the chance to. So Puka Nakua is the guy there. And then if I have to put a second guy there, probably Breece Hall. Someone who I wasn't really in on. I didn't believe in coming off that ACL. 10 carries, 127 yards, looked very explosive. I think him getting that first one, like that's kind of setting the tone for the rest of the year. Going to be a little different now that shitty Zach Wilson's his quarterback. Yeah. But I think they'll win in spite of him sometimes. But Breece Hall just looked great. Looked very explosive. So I think he's kind of a pleasant surprise there too. Vinny, who do you have as your McDonald's 11th McNugget award?
So I just have the one along with the ones you mentioned, but Tyler Algier. So I love the way he finished the season last year. I tried to get a hold of him in a few leagues because I just thought he finished too well. He's young. I mean, he's it's his second year. So I just thought I hope he stays involved in some way. And we saw that he was very involved in the offense. Bijan was very involved in the offense, and they might be a great 1-2 punch together, especially because the passing game did not look as developed as we hoped it would be, with both Kyle Pitts and Drake London being very disappointing, not moving forward. They had a good matchup where they should have been able to do that. And so these two guys, Algier and Bijan, might be running the ball together a lot more than we thought. And I'm happy with that because I think he's a good player and I want to see him get the ball. And so they might be a true start them both. There might be the possibility to start both of them and it be okay. And so he's definitely someone I'm targeting if he's on waivers in some of my leagues. I'm trying to get a hold of him if I can. We saw a trade happen with Algier involved in one of the leagues we're in together today. So people are moving on him.
Yeah, and that was an interesting trade too, where it was, I believe our buddy Andy and our buddy Dustin pulled it off, where it was, I think it was Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, who's took a hit just with the
That's that
Rodgers.
indirect injury affecting you. Like
Yeah.
it's it is a hit with Zach Wilson. He can still produce without, he did it last year, but Mike effing White is not there this year. So so man, if Mike White was the one stepping in, Garrett Wilson to the moon. Um but yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, Algier and somebody else. But I think it was a pretty good trade for both of them, depending on like their player preference and everything. I think D Hop was involved. I think it was D Hop and Algier for Garrett Wilson. So, yeah, basically one of them an Ohio State fan, so he had to get his guy there, and then the other guy's a Titans fan, so he had to get D Hop there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I think what we saw out of Bijan and Algier was what we were hoping to see out of Walker Charbonnet, but we didn't quite get. That's kind of a good comparison, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these players very deserving of that award.
So that's our awards, and so now we're gonna talk about what happened this week in the week one recap. We're gonna run through these games and just give you our opinions of what happened in these matchups and maybe things to be paying attention to. Some of which we've probably already hit on a little bit in the awards, but we're just gonna kind of keep talking through that. So starting with Thursday night football with the Lions and Chiefs, what are some of the notes you had on that game?
Yeah, so I mean, I know we're both high on Gibbs. A little disappointed that he didn't get the usage he got, but from the little amount of what we saw, I think he looked really good. He looks explosive. St. Brown is as advertised. It feels like St. Brown had a bigger game, but he had like 7 for 70 and a touch or something. Like that's a great outing. Like he had 20 points. That's what you want out of your late first rounder. So Chiefs. Two guys on the one guy on the shit the bed award, and another guy on the Hillshire Farms award. Never good. So, yeah, they didn't look good at all. Yeah, I didn't like what I saw of the Chiefs. I think Kelsey being out was a big part of that, but those were kind of my takeaways from that game.
Yeah, Mahomes looked like he was having to do more than he wants to do.
Mhm.
Mahomes likes to do things, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't need to be doing all the things. It was reminiscent of that season 3 seasons ago where the Chiefs got off to that terrible start and like Mahomes was trying to force everything to happen. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, he didn't look like himself.
when they can't run the offense through Kelsey, it really just screws everything up. So I'm sure once Kelsey's back and rolling, if he's healthy, or is he going to have a lingering thing? But yeah, if he's healthy, that should be fine. And then yeah, that Gibbs Montgomery split, we finally got some solid data on what that's going to look like. There was a lot of speculation, and it looks like Montgomery might have some relevant fantasy value for folks out there who thought that maybe Gibbs is going to take over the backfield entirely. But I think Gibbs will get more 11
Eventually.
plays and probably over more. I want to see them on their home turf, on that turf where they're real fast. I want to see Gibbs running on that turf, and so I think that'll be a game changer when they can play fast like they like to play in their home stadium.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so I think a lot of these games we either just red zoned or kind of listened to highlights. I know I watched a bit of the Sunday night game and the Monday night game, but the rest was all kind of highlights. But have the gist of it. So Falcons, Bijan Robinson's for real.
Yep.
Algier is also still very real.
Yeah.
Passing game sucks. I think Bryce Young is going to struggle. I think it might be kind of a long year for the Panthers. That's kind of what I gathered. I don't think anybody really stood out from the Panthers. But yeah, that Falcons running game is going to be, very much a thing this year too, I think.
Yeah, the only thing with the Panthers is everyone was wondering like who's Bryce Young's safety net's going to be.
Hayden
And
Hurst, maybe.
yeah, and it might be Hayden Hurst. I was kind of erring on the Thielen side of things, but it looks like Hayden Hurst might be that safety net. And not having not been able to get the ball to like sharp, that might change some things too. But yeah, Bryce Young is supposedly the most developed passer to come out of the draft this year. But in that offense, it just may not work at least initially.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty ugly. So So Texans and Ravens. Watching that one, my only note was what I was talking about. Just really sad about the offensive scheme not looking that great for the Ravens. But the one shining light, Zay Flowers looked terrific.
He's gonna blossom.
He's looking he's looking super startable. I think I started him maybe in like 2 out of 4, and then I finished him in the third. But so now I think I'm going to have him rolling in all the leagues because we were talking about how he could creep up to number 1. I think he's already number 1. So at least based on this week where nothing was rolling as far as passing game is concerned except for him. So I think he's already number 1. And then it was just kind of sucky to see Dameon Pierce stuck in that same scripted out situation that he found himself in last year.
Yeah. Again, not his fault. If only he would like get mad and request a trade somewhere or something, like let him shine, trade him to the Ravens. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Zay Flowers looked electric. Loved watching him. Once he gets that ball in his hands, he can just, man, like his juke moves are awesome. He's like they call him the human joystick. So I mean, you know, I think he put that a little bit on display, and I think he's only going to get better too. So, and these are guys that we've been on. If you go back and watch our videos from like early July, like you'll start to see it now and realize that we were on them pretty early before people were drafting and everything. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So, but Browns dominated the Bengals. In my work pick 'em, I actually did pick the Browns because I know that Joe Burrow struggles in Cleveland.
Yeah, and that team's just like a slow starter these days.
Yeah. Joe Burrow's gonna be fine, people. Like you know what? And he had a terrible game. We're disappointed in him, but I'll tell you what. That next week, I bet he throws for 4 touchdowns, or at least it counts for 4 touchdowns. He might run one in and pass 3 or something, but 4 touchdowns coming in next week. Jamar Chase is going to catch at least 2. They're going to go off. I know they're going against the Ravens, who have a stout defense, but I think the Bengals are just going to show up next week. That's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row. I know T. Higgins probably won't have another 0 outing. Yeah, it's just not going to happen again. Brown's defense looked very good though. That defense might be for real.
Yeah.
Chubb looked good as usual. He's as advertised as a first-round running back. Deshaun Watson kind of looked crappy like last year, but
still out on Watson. This game didn't change anything for me.
Yeah, nothing really there. Kind of showed us just the pleasant surprises were the Browns' defense and Nick Chubb. I mean, Nick Chubb was as advertised, and then kind of expected the Bengals to suck a little bit, but I didn't expect them to get shut out basically. Right. So
yeah, my thing was, are there any viable passing fantasy receivers in Cleveland that we want to get behind, because it just doesn't look like there's anyone you can trust week in and week out.
Not enough volume. I mean, there's the obvious Amari Cooper. I remember Elijah Moore. Yeah. I'd rather not start those guys. So I don't know. I guess not. But moving on to that next matchup, an AFC South battle between the Jaguars and the Colts. Trevor Lawrence was one of the few top 8 quarterbacks who did okay. He had a couple touchdowns in there. Calvin Ridley, we were on this shit early. Yeah. Calvin Ridley, we knew he would return back to form. He almost had 100 yards at halftime. I don't know why they went away from him in the second half, but I expect a lot of games to be like that. And that's him getting his feet wet. So just wait. He scored a nice touchdown. He looked fast. Very good. Picking up where he left off. Yeah. He's the alpha there, and it's unquestioned. Anthony Richardson, good outing too. I didn't get to watch too much of it. I know he had a turnover or 2, but not bad for a first game. And he's against the Jaguars, and they were in that game for till the end. So, trying to think of anything else Jaguars related. Tank Bigsby scored a touchdown, I think.
Yeah. Bigsby scored, had a fumble, but what was nice, it wasn't the Belichick reaction to a fumble where you're dead to me now. It was, hey, get in there and go score a touchdown, and he did. So that they do trust him. So we're Tank Bigsby guys. I'm really kind of hoping Tank Bigsby takes over that backfield to even more shares of the running game, and so I'm hoping that happens. And I like to see that, even though he fumbled, got the trust, got the score, and then Richardson looked good. They kept it simple for him, and it worked. And he can run, and he can throw, and he's durable. And so Michael Pittman, I was kind of down on Michael Pittman, but nice game. So maybe that's someone who matters. It's possible.
Yeah. Bucks Vikings. I think everybody was surprised at this result. I thought the Buccaneers were one of the crappiest teams going into this year, and they come out and just beat the Vikings. Cousins looked like an idiot. He was just serving up turnovers everywhere. A lot of the and he not calling him elite, but just the common theme this first week: Burrow struggled, Hurts struggled, Mahomes struggled, Tannehill struggled. All those top tier quarterbacks. Yeah. But except for Tannehill. Yeah. But I like throwing him into that top tier conversation to see if anyone catches it. But Jay Jetta is going to do his thing. Performed like a number 1 overall, 150 yards. Didn't get in the end zone, but that's coming. Addison scored a touchdown. That was cool. So you're getting the fantasy production that you want to see there.
I think it's possible Baker feeds Mike Evans and that's it. Who knows? Mike Evans last year was pretty ugly, but it did look like him and Baker had a connection. Alexander Madison looks vulnerable. He looks like he's the guy. And there's no one else who really looks good behind him. Like Ty Chandler did not look good, but Madison didn't look great in this match.
He didn't take control of his opportunity.
Now the Bucs defense is really good against the run. That was their thing last year. We know that about them. So maybe week 2 we see a better matchup for him. But I just having a few shares of him on 2 different teams, I was like, oh man, I really wish he had came out and did something this week. But yeah, not a shit the bed, not a disappointing player. Just I feel vulnerable having him on my squad, and I would rather feel more secure having someone else. And I was hoping he could be a secure guy to have on the team.
Yeah. And then Titans Saints. I did watch. I probably paid more attention to that one, just being a Titans fan. Man, Ryan Tannehill, it's goodness, and I've always backed him up, hey, he's not that bad, he just didn't have receivers. Well, we get him receivers, and anyway, just can't defend the guy anymore. What we have behind him is not very good either, so unfortunately, I think he is our best option. I don't know what to do there, but no touchdowns for the whole team. What was kind of weird in this one was the usage of the running backs. Derrick Henry was killing it in the first half, and they just went away from him in the second half, and we were in the game the whole time. There was also a blown call by the refs that was terrible. Derek Carr with the forward pass fumble kind of thing that they called dead that Kevin Byard would have ran in for a touchdown. Yeah. Our defense will outscore our offense this year. I'll say that. But yeah, Olave looked great. Yeah. Michael Thomas didn't look bad. That was kind of a surprise. Who knows how long that can keep going.
Yeah, he's not injured yet.
Yeah, he's not vintage Michael Thomas yet. I think Olave has taken the firm one on that. But DeAndre Hopkins, I thought he did, well with what he had. Other than that, we did see some usage of Tyjae Spears, but from a real football fan standpoint, they shouldn't have done that. And anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But didn't really like either of the team's output.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Just an ugly overall game. Glad Olave got his. Rashid Shaheed, he looked good. His big ability was still on display. So I think he's still the same guy he was last year. He's someone
great.
on some waivers out there. I know I have him sitting on my bench in some of my teams, but I might move him up or just wait on the injury. But yeah, he looked good. New Orleans running game didn't necessarily look that good. Taysom Hill, our favorite player of all time, I think he had one target in the end zone, but nothing really came of it. So yeah. So moving on to who we got 40. All right, Niners and Steelers. I think. Well, no, outside of it, the Cowboys was the biggest blowout. This would be the second biggest blowout of the week.
Yeah.
But so my notes was B Rob, the other B Rob, the less B Rob. He's obviously the lead back, but he did B Rob things like inefficient grinding, out carries to play ball. But
are you looking at Commanders cards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the situation there. Oh, I'm doing Commanders cards.
Yeah, it's all right.
Commanders cards. Then we're coming back.
We'll be back. Yeah.
But so B-Rob looks like the lead back there, and not a lot of Antonio Gibson action. And then I'm not sleeping on like Washington in any sense as far as the passing game is concerned. I just don't think it's like fully online yet.
Yeah.
And Sam Howell,
I wanted more out of Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, right. Like Jahan Dotson did fine, but like not fantasy startable fine.
Yeah, he's someone that like you had in your starting lineup. You're not cutting him because he didn't do bad, but you're probably looking at like that first guy on your bench and maybe starting him this week.
Right. Yeah, because maybe we need to wait for Washington to like figure it out.
Yeah.
And so what do you got on Washington and Arizona?
Just Cardinals like surprised me that defense did pretty good. Offense was not good. I mean, I honestly I've kind of been targeting the Cardinals. Like I'll target the Cardinals and the Titans until they prove me otherwise. Like I stream defenses, so that's what I'm going to look to do is kind of see who they're playing. I know I'm playing. I picked up the Chargers this week, even though they didn't do anything this week. I know they're playing the Titans. That's the thing about like if you know your team's not good. At least, if you're going to be disappointed, don't be all the way disappointed. Get some fantasy points out of it. So, I target the Titans. But yeah, I mean, Cardinals, I was hoping more out of Hollywood Brown. I don't think James Conner did much. Commanders did okay. They were like a middle of the road. I think they got like 10 points or something, which you'll take. But moving on to the 49ers Steelers, CMC, man, 150 rushing yards. Like that's just rushing. So so good. Yeah, he had the long touchdown, 65-yarder. Steelers suck. They there's no way to sugarcoat it. There's not enough volume for George Pickens. Deontay Johnson is now hurt.
Yeah. Pat Freiermuth hurt. Najee did not look good. The sexy pickup behind Najee doesn't matter. Jaylen Warren doesn't matter either. And yeah, it was just rough. San Francisco's hitting on all cylinders. I did realize that when you have Ayuk on your team, you get to join in with the San Francisco call when they go, Ayuk is on fire. But I've never had Ayuk on the team. And then I was listening live as he scored the touchdown. And then I got to do that with them. And I never get to do that.
That participation's huge. So moving on to Packers Bears, I was kind of surprised of this one too. I think I went 8 out of 16 on my pick'ems, and because there were a lot of upsets. Yeah. Jordan Love did really good. Romeo Doubs has a real role here. I think we were telling people, hey, he's the one over Christian Watson. Yeah. I know Christian Watson was out, but Christian Watson had 4 good games last year. We got to pump the brakes on Christian Watson. Yeah. Dobbs has been showing up. He's Love's favorite receiver. He only caught 2 or 4 balls or something, but he had 2 touchdowns. He's a baller. Romeo W's. He's going to get you those wins. So Aaron Jones, one of those people that we kind of came on to late in the offseason, kind of in that dead zone of running backs where it's you know what? I think I might take Aaron Jones. Yeah. He did great. Justin Fields, I was expecting, like, did he quit running the ball? I don't think I looked at his rushing stats, but I feel like he
It
didn't run the
wasn't. I
ball.
mean, it wasn't one of his. It was definitely like a floor game for him. He
Yeah.
was still rushing, and they did a ton of short throws. I mean, Roshan Johnson
He had
uh,
like 6 or 7 catches or
caught a
something.
ton of balls. It was
Yeah.
insane. And I mean, that's really not the advancement of the passing game that we're talking about with Justin Fields. So if like that's the trend, then maybe he hasn't advanced as a passer. DJ Moore did not get hardly any opportunities. It would look like his Carolina days where he's starving for someone to like get him the ball in space and do his work. So as far as the passing game was concerned, it was kind of sad. But if you took Fields, just another example of those like first, second round quarterbacks that were coming off the board, another disappointment. I mean, we're talking multiple. This was the year of the early quarterback draft, and all the early quarterback drafts shit the bed this week.
Yeah. Raiders Broncos, kind of like that Saints and Titans game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just expected more. Devontae Adams didn't really do much. Josh Jacobs didn't really do much. Jerry Judy being out kind of sucked. Yeah, just not. I don't know. I mean, Javonte Williams, I think he looks fine. But there's a lot to be desired there. I think he got like 11 points in a PPR or something. But anyway, yeah, maybe it takes a couple games for Sean Payton to get everything right. But yeah, nothing really too interesting in there.
No, not at all. And Josh Jacobs did Josh Jacobs things, but we're perennially off of Josh Jacobs. So anytime he
Yeah,
has a bad game, we're like, ha, another one. We knew it the whole
yeah.
time.
I mean, honestly, like just the amount of usage that he got last year, nobody has like come back the next season after sitting out and having like over 400 touches.
Yeah,
Like nobody's coming back and doing anything the next year. Like I hate to say someone's going to get hurt, but like very hard to stay healthy after something like that. It's just too much usage, I think. But we'll see. Maybe he proves us wrong. But moving on to probably the game of the week, Dolphins Chargers. That was a fun one,
right.
especially if you have Tyreek Hill. That was fun. Um, Man, Cheetah was on full display. Tua, what a man! So Tua's the best quarterback. So like, and he was going like ninth to 13th off the board for
Yeah,
quarterbacks. You can get him super late.
yeah.
He's a good stack with Tyreek Hill. If you had that, you definitely won. Um, Eckler did his thing. Trying to think of anything else.
Eckler came up a
I
little
think.
goofy. Might be something there with the ankle, so something to watch, which we really hate.
Mhm.
Eckler's been just insanely good, insanely resilient over the years. And so hopefully everything's fine there, but keeping an eye on that. And that plays into some of the waiver pickups that we're talking about a little bit later. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just put down for Miami and Los Angeles, I just put points, points, points because that was like just so much fun, electric. And don't stress Waddle. Like, don't worry about
He'll
Waddle.
be all
Waddle
right.
his game. That just for some reason he just didn't get the ball as much.
It was just a Tyreek game.
Yeah, and so
Those
but I'm
happen.
not stressing Waddle. If you got Waddle shares, you can turn them over to me if you want for cheap. But that's probably all you should be doing with those Waddle shares.
Yeah.
So Eagles and Patriots. So this was a nasty game, just nasty weather. Bill Belichick was in his soaked hoodie, just sitting there, no sleeves on his feet, looking old and decrepit
Yeah.
and grumpy. And so
Grumpy.
actually a yucky timeshare with Ezekiel Elliott. It was like, oh man, no.
It's back. We can't trust him again.
So good at just ruining people's like day. We used to love having him around, and now we're like, go home, leave. Old nasty.
Yeah.
I used to be the guy. I was like, eating first down. Now I'm just like, go.
I'm eating my cereal. Yeah.
I'm hiding in the Salvation Army. No, Just quit football. No one likes you.
He
Stop.
kind of looks like like an Ewok,
Ah,
like from Star Wars.
it does. And so I hate that
Um,
time of year. I hate that Ramondre is being punished by having to hang out with Zeke Elliott all day
right.
long. And
Yeah.
then the weather. Hopefully, the weather is what just like slowed down Philly's offense,
Yeah.
and not them having to have a new offensive coordinator. I hope that isn't going to be a problem this year, but it does have me a little bit worried.
Yeah, I don't like how I buy into DeAndre Swift and Kenneth Gainwell was the guy. I
Yeah,
don't like that might be they might have taken a page out of the Belichick book. Who knows?
yeah.
Um, but I think that Philly offense is going to be just fine. Philly defense looked good. I think they scored even. So moving on. Rams Seahawks. That was a big surprise game. I know I was expecting it to be kind of the other way around, 30-13 Seahawks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't recall any good Seahawks plays. Like I didn't hear any highlights of the Seahawks.
Yeah, it was quiet. It was really
Yeah. I don't even know. DK Metcalf had a touchdown, but he had like 40 yards or something.
yeah.
But yeah,
He got concussed or potentially concussed or whatever.
yeah,
So he came off the field after just 2 targets or after 2 receptions for 10 yards. I think
yeah.
AFC
Rams.
3, but the Rams were very surprising.
Yeah, you got and a lot of unsung heroes. You got Puka Nakua, you got Tutu Atwell. They have the best names. Like if they have like an all names team, like Puka Nakua, Tutu Atwell, and then like Kyron Williams was great too. I think Cam Akers, I know I was not in on Cam Akers. I don't think you were in on him either, but like there's a reason for that. Like Sean McVay's kind of like a Belichick type. Like he can switch it up at any moment on his running backs. Kyron Williams might be the guy to own over there, but who knows?
Yeah,
But maybe worth a waiver wire pickup.
right.
But yeah, very surprised, that and I don't know, you kind of like seeing a team that you think is going to be like just lay down cupcake and they show up and that's like, all right, cool, we have another fantasy relevant team with more players to choose from. So
Right.
game changer.
So Dallas and New York Giants, the biggest blowout of the week that was, and so Cowboys were leaning on that defense and running game. The defense with two different scores, and just had the Giants like all jacked up. Pollard looked good. Pollard got his work done.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb did not get a lot of action, not a lot of first round
I
draft
think it was
action, but it
Yeah, I
was
think it was game script. I think, he still got 4 for 77, which you're not going to be mad at him for, but you do draft him higher to get more around 20 instead of 11. But I think it was just they were up by so much. And sometimes we see that with CD Lamb. He's not as involved on that stuff. But yeah, Cowboys defense, best in the league. I'll go ahead and say it. I think they're better than San Francisco, better than Philly. They're just a very fast defense. They made the Giants look like shit, like right off the bat. Like they looked lost. They looked like they were just ready for the game to be over in the first quarter, disengaged. Like the Giants had no dogs on their team.
right.
And they ripped the dog right out of them.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. That's when you have a great defense. So anyway, and Cowboys were even on some waiver wires.
Yeah.
So whoever has that top waiver wire priority, I'd put it on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You get that defense, you don't have to stream anymore. So
And don't discount or do discount. I don't know. Mike McCarthy calling plays now. That guy's an idiot. So you can count on him to make at least like 1 to 5 crucial play call mistakes per game, and so that could be important throughout the season. Also, they complained last year that the Cowboys weren't running the ball enough. Basically, he'll do anything to keep Jerry Jones happy, and so that could hurt the Cowboys passing game. Like I'm letting go of like my Michael Gallup shares because I was just hopeful that, oh yeah, Michael Gallup could like resurge. But after seeing like how they just completely were like, okay, we're winning. Let's just not throw the ball ever again. And thinking about McCarthy. So yeah, like I'm concerned, a little concerned for the passing game, especially if they're just that committed to running the ball. And McCarthy is just like such a, oh, Jerry, whatever you need me to do to keep my job kind of guy. So look out for that. The last game, and so the Monday night matchup, Buffalo versus New York Jets. And I'm laughing just because Aaron Rodgers, he played 4 snaps after the whole offseason. Every stupid show talked about him. I mean, like the smart shows that we enjoy were like, okay, can we not talk about Aaron Rodgers? But like the dumb shows like NFL Network and ESPN, it was just Rodgers. Look, he's dancing at the Taylor Swift concert. What a cool guy. Wow, neat. Drugs, silence. And then it's like, snap.
Snap, crackle, pop, you gone, boy. So anyway, but yeah, like just too much talk about like the QB 17 and fantasy drafts coming out, like a backup. Like you shouldn't be starting him. Anyway, yeah, so like if you did start him, you didn't get any points. But yeah, I mean, really cool ending to a shitty game. Like I thought that was really cool. Like just seeing it in that fashion in overtime, some guy I've never heard of returning a punt all the way. That was really cool. Josh Allen looked awful. Stephon Diggs, one of the most dramatic receivers I've ever seen. My goodness, everything's a big production. Like with him, every catch, just such a like theater kid. Yeah, like what did he say? Like she ye or like I forget what the hell he yelled, but like I don't know. He's starting to become in that OBJ category, that Juju Smith-Schuster category for me, where I'm just like, all right, like. But he at least has the production to back it up. But he looked good, stat wise, and yeah, I mean, outside of that, like I don't know, still not interested in Gabe Davis. I dropped Khalil Shakur. I thought he could be more of a thing. Josh Allen just like really looked crappy. So anyway, I don't think he's gonna be crappy forever. I think it looked crappier like because his hair is a little bit longer and he was struggling. Sometimes for some reason that looks bad. Like when Matt Stafford would have a bad game, but he had long hair, it looked worse than if he were to have like normal hair. I don't know why that is. But yeah, Zach Wilson sucks. Like I feel bad for the Jets. They like mortgaged their whole future for Aaron Rodgers just for that to happen. And I think Garrett Wilson does take a hit, but we've seen that he can produce with bad quarterback play. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, he definitely takes a hit. He's probably more of like a third rounder now than like back into first and second round. But yeah, figured we check in on the God Squad really quick, and then we can touch on waiver wire, and then just like maybe look at a couple games that we're excited about in week 2.
Right.
So just want to check on these heavenly gentlemen. God Squad, our God is an awesome God. He flies around in heaven above. So the Sun God, St. Brown, looked great.
Yep.
Pollard, great.
Yes.
Ridley, great. Trevor Lawrence, great.
Yes.
I mean, he'll get there.
No,
let's see. Garrett Wilson had a great catch. I mean, he didn't do much. Anthony Richardson, showed that potential.
Good.
Jahmyr Gibbs needs the ball more. Zay Flowers looked great. He was very involved. Happy about him. Tank Dell, I might need to pump the brakes on a bit. But
Darren Waller, or not Darren Waller, Kyle Pitts didn't do anything. and Javonte, too many mouths to feed, not enough ball, and then Dameon Pierce got game scripted out. So the God Squad's about half and half, honestly.
Yeah, Yeah, some of them are in purgatory.
I mean, yeah, we're not gonna put them on that like all-time like Satan squad yet, but like
the Satan squad. Yeah, we're not sending them to hell, but like they might be at the gates, possibly on the
who
wrong
on this
side. So
list would you say is on the fast track to hell right now?
right now,
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking like my boy Kyle Pitts,
I'm
who
thinking Kyle Pitts.
pretty big risk putting him on the God squad anyways.
It was lofty. So Kyle Pitts. Um, Kyle Pitts is my only real concern. Like nobody else looked bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Like some are just waiting on opportunity.
Yeah,
Like
like
they didn't, do bad.
and maybe Kyle Pitts gets his opportunity. So I don't know. I think they can still all stay on there. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
thought we'd check in.
If we lose anyone, like if we want to demote them permanently, we should put like a little devil on them or something. Welcome to the all.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get better with graphics too, by the way. All these awards, like we're gonna show the people what we're made of. So anyway, real quick, we'll touch on some top waiver wire boys. My waiver wire ads that I would be interested in. A lot of these are probably already on teams. I haven't looked at percentage shares like owned and everything, but Puka Nakua, that's your number one waiver wire ad about everywhere. Kenneth Gainwell, especially if you're like a DeAndre Swift owner. Tyler Algier, Romeo Dobbs, Kyron Williams, Joshua Kelly, Tyjae Spears in deeper leagues, and if you have someone that you want to drop, he's a good one there. And then Zay Jones, I think Christian Kirk was kind of the one phased out. I don't know if it's going to be like a weird week to week thing, but Zay Jones may be in deeper leagues. But I know some of those were yours, Vinny. I just kind of ran through them. But anybody else that I didn't name off?
If you're trying to jump in on the J.K. Dobbins replacement, Hill's going to cost you more fab than Edwards. Edwards is the better runner, but Hill gets the touchdowns for some damn reason. And at the end of the day, who cares? It's Baltimore backfield, and it's never really.
Right.
Like it's a very unpredictable backfield. It's risky to have any of those guys, but if something shakes loose, one of those guys might be someone you'd spend some fab on.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
anyway, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of like priority waiver wire ads this week. I think there's like a couple and then some guys that you're really kind of interested in. But if there's anyone that really popped off, it's Puka Nakua, maybe
Right.
Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah. So week 2, any matchups really jumping out at you? I mean, we got what should be a high flying matchup in a Thursday night game. But we're still collecting that data.
Yeah. Yeah, that game should be high flying. I think it might be an Eagles route with if Kirk Cousins is as bad as how he was last week.
Yeah.
Could be one of those like shut down Justin Jefferson. I'm not never bench him, but like might be one of those surprise. Oh, Jefferson only had 50 yards. Like could be something like that. Maybe a trap game for Jefferson.
Bengals Ravens. Bengals could come out 0-2 in this situation to start the
They
year.
could.
They
Yeah.
struggle against the Ravens. The Ravens are good. If something's lingering with Joe B, but the Bengals, I think they started out last year 0-2, so they're no strangers to that. But then this would be 0-2 within the division, which is really hard to dig your way out of.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know, I think the one thing that saves the Bengals here is they are at home and it's their home opener and they want to get that bad taste out of their mouth. I think the Ravens are a different team away than they are at home. But I could see the Ravens coming out and kind of like, shitting on their cupcakes. But Lions Seahawks looks kind of fun.
Yeah, and this is Lions at home
on that turf.
So look out for Jahmyr Gibbs. It's his first time seeing him in action on the turf. So I want to see how he negotiates and change and really messes with folks. And the Seahawks did not look great defensively. So I'm hoping for some points for Detroit.
Yep. Jags Chiefs looks like a lot of fun too.
Oh yeah, the playoff rematch, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Look for a lot of. Well, I don't know. Like, it is if is Kelsey back? Like,
Yeah,
never
uh,
mind. Like, pump the brakes. We'll see.
right. With that hyperextension, I mean, we could be talking 3 to 4 weeks. So the Chiefs could be kind of limping along, trying to figure themselves out, while the Jags are coming in off a win. They got all this energy. I mean, personally, I'm hoping for some Jags here. I don't have any Chiefs shares, so let's go
Yeah.
Jags.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wonder if and I haven't dropped Kadarius Toney in this one league yet, just because
Yeah.
I don't know why he's so hard to quit, and I was completely out on the guy, but I do have one share of him,
Yeah.
and if he goes off, like I want to have like at least one. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he is the last guy on the bench now. Like if he has another bad week, he's gone. But
Yeah, like I held on to Sky Moore in 1 out of 4 leagues just because,
yeah,
you know, you just like
yeah, Sky Moore I'm out on.
you just hang out and just see. But yeah, like Tony, Tony is like Charlie Brown and the football. He's always, you're like, oh, and then there you go, like on your ass, and you're like, why did I
Yeah.
fall for that again?
Yeah, not interested in any of
I'm not
that.
seeing anything too exciting
Start
here.
your Chargers defense. Oh, the Cowboys are gonna murder the Jets. That 9.5 spread is too low. That's the Cowboys are 30-point favorites in that one.
All right, so you're calling the Cowboys huge rout of the Jets.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
so
Yeah.
so yeah, start your Pollard, start your CD, start your Dak. Do you start your Dak against that Jets defense that
Well,
made Allen look?
Jets defense did look good. I think where I'm like freaking out here is when the Jets offense is on the field and the Cowboys defense is on the field. That's
Oh right,
where
okay.
yeah, like that's where the big difference is going to come.
So this could
So,
be another Giants situation, and the Cowboys are just going to
yeah.
run through the whole state of New York.
Yep, pretty much. So yeah, that's going to happen.
And Dolphins Pates. So they're in New England. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean, that could be interesting. The Pates played well this past week. They didn't come out. Hey, what do you think about that receiver for the Patriots? What the is his name? Um,
Booty,
no. He like was it not Booty? Is it?
Butte.
No, it wasn't Booty.
Yeah, he sucks.
No, Bourne, Kendrick Bourne.
Oh, Kendrick Bourne. I've seen him flash like in years past.
Yeah. So
He's not someone I'm picking up. I don't even know what his stat line was.
11 targets, 64 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I've seen him flash before. It's just such a bad off. Like
Right.
Mac Jones walks around like a 47-year-old vice principal. So like he's got a big ass, you know. So I don't know. That's kind of what just always turns me off of the Patriots. I just think of their like stupid quarterback.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes be walking around like that. He just doesn't have the big ass to go with.
Yeah, he's a little more flowy. Like he's definitely flowy. Um,
Yeah, like
yeah, that first Monday night matchup looked like not fun. What was the last Monday night matchup? It's gonna be on so late.
Browns and Steelers.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
that Browns defense is gonna destroy the Steelers.
yeah, get you some. Don't leave Miles Garrett on your bench if you have IDP like I did.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think, and I'll probably stay up super late to watch it too, just because like it's Monday Night Football. But I'm on Eastern time, so you know, it doesn't start at 10 something. I remember like they used to do like West Coast games late on Monday night at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year, and it would like start at like 10:30 p.m. and end at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. That
No,
was rough.
those two games will be on at the same time. One will have just started 1 hour earlier.
Huh.
So
a lot of channel switching.
yeah, I mean, maybe whichever one becomes sucky real fast, you just switch over to the other.
Yep.
But that is week 1. That was a marathon session. I'm exhausted. I'm spent. I'm gonna need a.
Yeah, we'll get that down a little bit better, I think. I think we spent a lot of time recapping like each game, and maybe we need to just meat and potatoes it.
Well, I think too. It's just week 1. There's a lot to break down. Once we get into this thing, there will be games where just like, yep, skip that game. No one cares.
Yeah.
We'll just like check the room left, right. None of y'all got shares of any of these people, right? Okay, let's move forward here. But that was the week that was. Go out, get your waivers, pick those folks up. Good luck in week 2. Don't forget to do the 5 important things, which are
live, laugh, love, like, and subscribe. Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast.
Nailed it!